voice. Built from the fire, every scar was a choice. I was raised in the rain, learned to move through the pain. Now my mind stays sharp, I'm forever in my lane. Mind dial locked in, no doubt in my frame. I came too far to fold, I was born in the flame. It's the sound of a fighter when the pressure get loud. I don't wait on the moment, I create my own crowd. Distractions all around, but I'm focused, lock tight. Mental soldier on a mission, I'm prepared for the fight. They try to pull me left, try to drag me off my path, but I'm centered in my purpose, turning pressure into math. I add up every loss, every lesson, every scar. Now I shine through the storm like a fire from afar. Who I was ain't who I am, and who I am won't stay. I'm evolving with the hunger, getting stronger every day. Every setback turned destruction, every wound became a tool. I was taught by the hard times, now I'm moving like a jewel. I got vision in my spirit, discipline in my chest. I don't chase applause, I chase the life I deserve best. I've been training my mind where the weak ones quit, turning pain to a platform, every setback fit. I'm the proof in the pressure, I'm the lesson, I'm the sign. When I speak I move mountains, got my future in line. Every thought got power, every word got weight. I'm rewriting my fate, there ain't room for debate. I came from the bottom, now I'm aiming for the crown. With my feet in the fire, still I never back down. My game on top, yeah, I'm built to withstand. Every move that I make got a plan in my head. I was forged in the struggle, made to rise through the pain. Now I stand in my power and I'm owning my name. No fear, no limits, I'm a force in motion, focused on a mission with a warrior's devotion. Yeah, I'm locked in, no cap, no delay. Every thought on success, every breath on the way. I don't bend for the crowd, I was made to ascend. Mind down so far, just to come and no end. I'm up, I'm alive, I'm a star in the making. Built for the pressure, watch me stand through the shaking. Top of my thoughts, I don't chase, I lead. I plant greatness in my mind, then I watch it breathe. Pressure try to break me, but it's sharpen my blade. Every setback turned to fuel, every wound made me brave. I don't need permission, I was born to lead. Planting seeds in the struggle, now I'm reaping what I need. Vision in my left eye, faith in my right. I've been training in the shadows, now I'm ready for the light. They can talk about the finish, I'm too busy in the race. Put a legacy with every breath, every step, every pace. Discipline in my habits, determination in my tone. I'm a fortress in the mind, never standing here alone. The battle is internal, but I mastered the war. Now I'm breaking every boundary they ever set before. I don't fold under pressure, I expand in it. Every inch of this journey got my stamp in it. I'm the calm in the chaos, I'm the will in the flame. When I step in my purpose, even doubt knows my name. I don't need a shortcut, I trust my grind. Every break, every scar, every lesson aligned. I've been walking with focus, I've been moving with grace. Now face to face with the life I embrace. I'm too locked in to lose, too hungry to stop. When my back hit the wall, I just rise above it all. Built on resilience, my spirit stay tall. I'm on top of my mindset, I refuse to fall. My game on top, yeah, I'm built to withstand. Every move that I make, they got a plan in my head. I was forged in the struggle, made to rise through the pain. Now I stand in my power and I'm owning my name. No fear, no limits, I'm a force in motion, focused on a mission with a warrior's devotion. Yeah, I'm locked in, no cap, no delay. Every thought on success, every breath on the way. I don't bend for the crowd, I was made to ascend. Mind out so far, just to come and no end. I'm up, I'm alive, I'm a star in the making. Built for the pressure, watch me stand through the shaking. Top of my thoughts, I don't chase, I lead. I plant greatness in my mind, then I watch it breathe. No distractions, no defeat. Mindset like steel, heart set on victory.
3, 2, 1. Initiate grit briefing.
Grit briefing is initiating. We are bringing the teams online.
This is the build, the prep, the grind before the fight. Personal growth in the dark so I can lead in the light. I train my mind, I harden my will. I sharpen every skill because the mission of life rewards the ones who've got the steel. I suit up before the order, I move before the sound. I learn the lesson in the pressure, I stay ready, feet on the ground. When the call comes in, I don't hesitate, I activate on go. Prepare for what's ahead with the discipline to know. Train now, grow now,
lock it now.
go time, ready to move. This life operation order to be given now. Stay ready, stay prepared. 3, 2, 1. Initiate grit briefing.
Good morning, Grit Nation, and welcome to the Grit Briefing. We are streaming live over on our Facebook, YouTube, as well as TikTok. I see my daughter. Looks like my daughter has joined. Good to see you. Man, I'll tell you what, this is our second Grit Briefing. For those who are familiar with Grit Nation, we've been around for 10 years. We have done an episode in the mornings called Coffee with Coach. And recently, we just changed the title, the format, everything to come into the Grit Briefing. And the Grit Briefing is focused on, we are going to be teaching you mindset stuff. Today, we're going to be taking a look at comparison and the dangers of us moving forward with comparing ourselves to other people. And with that being said, it's set up kind of like a military briefing. It's set up like an op order, an operations order. We're going to look at several different things. But a couple things before we get started. First of all, I want to welcome those who are watching this on Facebook and commenting. Bonnie, I saw you. Peggy, I saw you. I want to say thank you for those who are watching this on TikTok. My name is Coach Grit. That is what I'm affectionately known as. I've been doing Grit Nation for over 10 years, helping people with their mindset. I'm also a certified master trainer. I am certified in numerous things when it comes to fitness. And my whole mission, my mission before the Grit mission, is to encourage you to build a better version of you, beating yesterday's you with today's you. Why? Because your response is your responsibility. I can only give you the tools. You have come across this briefing and you have come across Grit Nation. The universe has put you here for some reason. And in that, you have to decide what you're going to do with it. Are you going to stay around and listen? Or are you going to just bail out? And the universe is only going to give us so many different options before it finally says, I guess you're not ready. If you are watching this on YouTube or you're watching this on TikTok and you have a Facebook account, go look up in the group section of Facebook. Go look up the Grit Nation. We have over 1,000 people over there that have been part of this community for over 10 years, encouraging each other. We do workshops as well. We just finished up the basic training workshop. We're currently getting ready, and I will be announcing probably by the end of the month when we will be doing the resilient workshop, which is our next workshop that we're doing. But this is all about the Grit Briefing. For those who are watching this on TikTok, once again, due to the way the setup is, I am unable to actually show you the slide. So if you are watching this and you're like, man, I really got a lot out of this, and you want to dig more into it, you can always go to our Facebook group, where after the episode, what I do is I literally load up the slides that I'm currently showing live on YouTube and Facebook, so that you can download them yourself, take a look at them, and see what it's about. We're going to get this thing kicked off. The Grit Briefing Operation Mission Ineffective Focus. All right. So let me ask you something. You ever find yourself just comparing? You ever find yourself feeling less valued? You ever find yourself alone and asking yourself questions such as, will I ever do better? Will I ever achieve my dreams? Why can't I, and maybe even the more, self-demoting, why is it that it seems like I am always messing up, or I am always falling short, or I cannot do what others do? I'm unable to do what others do. I'm unable to do whatever it is. You get those wheels turning, and it starts becoming these intrusive thoughts in our head that we have to do something with it. And that's the thing about the mind is where all of our action begins. Our action begins with our thought patterns. And in order to align our thought patterns in a way that is mission effective and not mission ineffective, We have to control the way that we think. Then that changes. And when we change the way we think, that begins to change the patterns of our lives. When we change the patterns of our lives, then our mind, body, and soul come in line with each other. And what they do is they begin to see things that may have always been there. We just didn't see it before. Why? Because we had blinders. We had that comparison blinder. So one of the things, where are we right now? Comparison is as old as mankind. It really is. When you take a look and you look through the history of mankind, comparison has always been there. Now, is comparison bad? You're like, Coach, I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking maybe so, the way that you're kind of leading off with this thing. I will tell you that I believe that comparison can be productive when utilized in the correct format. We're going to be talking about that today in this grit briefing. The problem with that is, though, that way too often we do not control the comparison controls us, and the effect of the comparison controls us. And so, how do we take something that can be very effective? How is comparison effective? Well, comparison can be, and we're going to be talking about this more in the briefing, but comparison can be something where I can take a look at someone and go, I like what they're doing, and I like the results they're getting, whether it be their dreams, their career, their relationships, their finances, their mental strength, whatever it is. And you go, and I'm not there. You're comparing, right? You're saying, here's where they are. This is where I'm at. But then what you do from there is you then formulate a plan that is effective for you, not based upon that feeling of less value, not based upon that feeling of deprecation, not based upon that feeling that you're losing out on something, but you make an actionable plan. That's where comparison actually can work for us in a positive way. But we don't do that. So the situation where we're at, when we look at the military op order setting, we take a look at the situation. Where are we today? Comparison is old as mankind, but today it has been weaponized, monetized, filtered, edited, delivered straight into the palm of your hand. What are you talking about, Coach? I'm talking about your phone. I'm talking about your devices. I'm talking about social media. I talk about this all the time when it comes to grit, because social media is powerful and it can be utilized just like comparison. It can be utilized in a fantastic way, or it can be used in a negative way. And when I say the comparison is as old as mankind, but it has been weaponized, monetized, filtered, and edited, what I'm talking about is literally we have, over the last 10, 15 years, we have seen the rise of this term called influencer, right? It is that idea that the people we are coming across, when it comes through our devices, when it comes through media, when it comes through things that are pushed at us, we have adjusted our mindset to believe that those people are valuable and worth listening to. And I say this all the time as a mindset coach. I'm no different than you. You happen to come across me. We're having this, in essence, one-way conversation, but we're having this moment. But that doesn't mean you should just take what I say for granted. That doesn't mean you should look at my social media and go, wow, he has it all together. Wow, look at the life he's living. Because in today's society and culture, we only get to see what we're allowed to see. And when we begin to compare ourselves to that which we're only allowed to see and not the real thing, it becomes the absolute epitome of the Wizard of Oz. Really, that's what social media has become in our lives, is that great and powerful Oz. But it's really just a normal person that knows how to use technology to begin to create this image of something they're really not. But unfortunately, we become Dorothy. Unfortunately, what we do then is we look at this big floating massive Wizard of Oz head and we say, wow, look at the power. Look at that. I want that. That's who I am. That's who I want to be. And in reality, it's just some little person behind a screen. And so we're going to be taking a look at this today. The battlefield of this today, that we're going to identify the battlefield. The battlefield is the mind. I alluded to that earlier when I said, before any actions take place, the initiation, the ignition, the piece that sets us forward or takes us back is our mindset. It is, how are we taking in the data? We just finished up in the Grit Nation basic training workshop, and we talked about in that how the mind can only absorb so much data points. It takes in a lot of data throughout the day, but it can only store a certain amount of that. And so it has to be trained on what is important. How does that happen? A lot of times it happens by accident. We don't actually take control of our mind. We just exist. We're reactive. We're not proactive. And by being reactive, we're just allowing all this data to come in, and the mind's waiting for a signal from the soul to say, okay, what do I store? What's important? That signal never comes. And so the mind just goes, I guess I can just pick up whatever. And what it does is it picks up reference points from society and the culture around us. Well, when society and culture around us is so focused on comparing and comparison, then what the mind does is goes, that must be what is important. And we are stuck in a cycle of comparison. Today is amplified, it's amplified by marketing, social media, even AI. AI can be powerful. It can be used for so many amazing things. And at the same time, just like social media, just like comparison can be good or bad, it creates this false sense. My wife and I were actually talking recently about AI, and she made the statement. She's like, it's so difficult because humans already, and we were talking about comparison, we already have this put in thing where we're looking at, give me 1 second, folks, on TikTok. I'm getting a message, a phone call. We're getting this, that threw me off. We're getting this constant barrage of what we should be looking at and how we should be. And then you add AI into that, and it creates this false sense that cannot be achievable. So how do we overcome that? How do we compare? How do we stop comparing our full lives to curated highlight reels? It's so crazy when you're taking a look at the way that our life has become this 15-second, the 60-second switch back and forth flipping. It is just small highlight reels. And yet, if you are into sports, you know that highlight reels are exactly that. It's just a highlight. It doesn't represent the whole game. And if you compare where you are in life to a highlight, you're missing the majority of what you actually should be dialing in and looking at. Why do we do this, though? What is that thing inside that drives us to start comparing? I think it really goes back to the oldest piece of humankind is we're tribal. We have always been a tribal species. And in a tribal setting, you don't want to be left behind. You want to feel valued. You want to make sure that you're a valued member and that you contribute. You want to make sure that you're getting your fair share, in essence, of what the tribe has, because that literally at the grit level, really basic level, that means survival. And I think in a world that is digitized so much, we still have that basic instinct of survival within us. And so then when we begin to see highlight reels and photos or things that are marketed specifically to drive this need that says you're missing out, We feel it. And then our mind takes it in. Our mind takes it in. It connects with our soul. Our soul goes, are we missing out? And the mind goes, I think we are. How do you know we're missing out? Well, I'm looking at all this data. I'm looking at these highlight reels. I'm looking at these photos. I don't look like that. I don't feel that way. They're living the highlight. And then the basic instinct of survival kicks in and goes, I have to be missing out on something. And I don't want to miss out on something because missing out means I'm going to be left behind. This causes us in our life, our pathway to success, it begins to drift our mission. This is why this grit briefing is called Mission Ineffective Focus, is when we begin to look at all these different highlight reels. What then takes place is our mind begins to drift off of the mission that the universe has put in front of us. We start spending more money because we have to have what it is that marketing is telling us. We start doing things and buying all this stuff to make us look like the way we think we have to look. We are comparing, and it begins to move us. And what happens then is we are measuring ourselves with someone else's measuring stick. Let's take a look at the enemy forces of our lives, the things that begin to make us start comparing ourselves, start driving that insecurity. Insecurity has become one of the biggest marketing tools ever. It's always been that way. Whether you're young or older like me, most marketing is based on some form of insecurity, right? Or that desire that you don't have it and you need it. So insecurity is one of the most profitable markets in the world. So one of the first things we identify is, am I insecure? Now, I'll tell you right now, I know there are some people out there that go, Coach, I'm not insecure. Okay, I'm glad. And maybe you're not. But I will also tell you there are some insecure people out there who won't be honest and have that mission briefing with themselves. They won't seclude themselves in a seclusion to examine honestly their life. And if they did that, they would find out that there are some sneaky enemy forces that have infiltrated. I don't think that's the right word, but they have gotten behind the wire, and they have come into your soul, and it's these feelings that I am not good enough. See, there's a difference between I can be better, that phrase, and I'm not good enough. On the surface, they look the same. They, in essence, are saying, be better, as my kids would say. But one is a propelling forward. Man, I could do better. It is a mindset that I am going to drive myself forward for me, for my goals, my actions. Then you have that destructive thought pattern that says, I'm not good enough. Well, that is a defeated attitude. That is that defeated mindset that just puts you in a slump and you stop and there's no forward movement. What can create these? First of all, we talked about already. It's social media, right? Social media can be powerful. It's what's bringing me to TikTok right now, Facebook, YouTube, all the areas we're streaming right now. Social media can connect a bigger tribe. But at the same time, if we are not being proactive and we're only being reactive and we're only floating through life, floating, hoping that we will connect to our dreams, our goals, then our brain is saying, and our soul is connecting, and they're saying there's so much more to this. And the soul is just going, there's more to this. And the brain goes, I know, but I'm not right sure what I'm supposed to be doing. And so it goes out and it just starts collecting this data, all these highlight reels. Up to 95% of youth ages 13 to 17 report using social media platforms. More than a third of them say that it is almost constant. Do a project today. Go out and you might be one of those, and you're saying, well, I'm not, Coach, I'm older. I don't care. That just happens to be the statistic, the age range I looked at. But what if you were to put your phone down today, step away from your phone, go for a walk in a park where there's people and watch how many people are actually go through a mall. I know there's not really, I know where I'm at, there's not a lot of indoor malls anymore, but go to a shopping center, go somewhere you can are literally taking a look and watching people around you and see how much time people are spending on their phone. They feel like they're connected, but they're disconnected because they're being just reactive. We talked about it already, that tribal fear, that fear that I'm missing out on something. And when we feel like we're missing out on something, our soul says, oh my God, we're missing out. And our brain goes, I will find this out. I will find out what it is we're missing out. And then in today's world of comparison, it goes out and it begins to look with no direction because we're not in control. It's in control. We're not being focused on what the data points we're putting into our mind are. We're just allowing it to happen. And so it goes out and it begins to see all this false facade highlight reels, not the full story, and we're ambushing our mind, body, and soul. And modern marketing knows this. I remember a time when TikTok, talking to my people on TikTok who are watching, I remember when TikTok had no ads, no one was selling anything. And now, if I scroll through TikTok, 90% of the time, it's somebody trying to sell something that I actually don't need, but they are basing it off of this tribal thing of, man, everybody's got it. Man, if you're a creator, you got to have this. My videos didn't go anywhere until I got whatever this is. It's that comparison, and it's that tribal fear that I'm missing out. When we begin to identify these things, there's a reason we want to identify it, is because when we can identify the enemy, then we know where to look to begin to dial in the rounds to be destroy the enemies of our goals, our success, and our path forward. And in reality, we begin to destroy it, those things that are destroying us, making us insecure, whether we recognize that we have insecurities or not. A few other things that we can identify is that manufactured reality. It's that people are comparing themselves to enhanced, edited, filtered, and so. You ever been catfished? I have. Before I met my wife, I was catfished. And I dare say you were catfished. You're like, no, Coach, I've been married for how many years? I'm not talking about in a dating aspect. I'm talking about those photos, those snaps, those videos that you're watching, and you see this perfect person and you go, man, never could look like that. And yet, if you were standing beside them, they wouldn't look the way they look through the lens. It's funny because I have friends of mine who they won't do anything on social media without filters. And I always laugh about that because I'm just like, what is wrong with who you are? Every once in a while, I'll have a filter on and I won't know it. And then I'm looking at myself going, that doesn't look like me. I'm looking for those who are watching this on YouTube and Facebook stuff. I'm looking up at the camera for TikTok. Because I was like, do I have one now? I don't. Why? Because I want those who I connect with to know what I look like, who I really am. That's in 10 years of grit, I've really stressed that importance of being transparent. But people don't want to be transparent because they feel as if they are themselves, then they're not good enough. Why? Because they've compared themselves to all this manufactured reality. This can cost us our mental health. They've said that there's studies that have been done that says that this type of comparison, especially these days, has begun to fuel higher anxiety, depression, shame, body dissatisfaction, and low self-worth. There are individuals out there today that you have value. You were put here at this time because you have something, you have a role that only you can fill, but you're not. Why? because you have stepped back, you've regressed, you've pulled back into the shadows. You don't want to be seen because you have compared yourself to something that wasn't yours to compare to. Recent review links heavy social media use and social comparison with depression, anxiety, self-esteem concerns. And then that's where the mission drift begins to happen. We're not living our full value. Like, coach, I don't know my full value. And you know what? Honestly, coach, just listening to you right now, you're the first person in a while that has said I even have value. Well, that should not be, not because you don't have someone else in your life to cause value, but you should look in the mirror. But the reason we don't is because we have been programmed to not like what we see because of the comparison of what we are comparing ourselves to. Comparison becomes mission ineffective. The whole idea is that our life, we need to be effective every single day. We need to be proactive and not reactive. But when we take our eyes off of our personal goals and understand this is our life, being a certified master trainer, I tell my clients and I tell the groups I teach, this is you against you. It's not you against coach. It's not you against anyone else in the gym. It's just you against you. And at Grit, we've had this saying for years, beat yesterday's you with today's you. It's not beat yesterday's you with today's somebody else. It's you. You got up this morning. Life said you get to live today. And how sad is it that we get these days and we do it trying to compare ourselves to somebody else? Comparison becomes mission ineffective when it stops informing your growth and starts commanding your worth. I'm going to say this again. Comparison becomes mission ineffective when it stops informing your growth and starts commanding your worth. What does that mean? I started this briefing off saying that comparison is actually not bad. It's how we allow it to dictate our actions is where it becomes mission ineffective. When it says, when it stops informing your growth, what I mean is when I want to grow and I have this goal, I have this mission in mind, I'm looking forward saying, that's where I want to be. Why do I want to be there? Because it's worth something to me, not because someone else got there. Now, how am I going to get there? Well, I learn from other people, and I do need to compare myself. And I need to take a look and say, okay, what is it that they've done that I haven't done? Again, that's forward thinking. That's not saying, oh, I'm not as good as them. It's saying, okay, I could be better. I'm going to compare myself to if I am going to play, American football and I want to go pro. Well, I need to compare where I'm at today to where the truth of where other people are, where I want to be. That is informing me of the information that I need to get there in a healthy growth mindset. But where comparison usually ends up taking us is it starts commanding our self-worth. It starts instead of that growth forward mindset, it regresses us back and says, you're not worth it. You're not pretty enough. You're not strong enough. Your body doesn't look like everybody else. And then we start getting into this. I'm going to post because I need someone to validate. We are now no longer in control. The comparison is in control. That comparing mindset is in control. It is driving our self-worth. And that should never be the basis of our value or our self-worth. Your value, your basis comes from you and nobody else. No one else's measuring stick. The algorithm does not care if you're healed. The algorithms that you deal with every day do not care anything about you. It just cares you're engaged. More clicks, more likes, more swipes is driving our life. So now that we've identified these things, what do we need to do? Say, coach, okay, I got you. I'm on board. I'm watching it. I'm with you. I'm going. All right, well, that's the enemy. So let's take a look at what we need to do. What's the mission? What is the mission that we need to grasp in order to grow and to find the value within us, to understand our self worth, and stop allowing the comparison to dictate our actions? Here's the mission, the commander's intent. Individuals will identify, disrupt, and replace destructive comparison patterns through. So you'll identify. Once we've identified, we're going to disrupt the enemy. Once we've disrupted, we need to replace. What are we replacing? The destructive comparison patterns. How are we going to do it? Through identifying grounding, digital discipline, value-based goals, gratitude, mission-focused action in order to restore. Why are we doing it? To restore self-worth, protect mental readiness, and execute your own life mission with discipline, purpose, and intent. I talk about this all the time in Grit. I've talked about this at Coffee with Coach. I've talked about this in our workshops that we do. I've talked about this in other Grit briefings. Purpose and intent. Those two words are describing and demand us to be present and in action. Everything I'm thinking, which then drives my actions, so that everything I'm doing is with purpose and intent. I'm not allowing life to just happen. I am taking the fight to life and I'm progressing forward. We're going to do this through identifying where comparison is attacking our focus. Again, we talked about the in focus or the mission ineffectiveness of comparison. Well, it takes our focus off of what's the newest big thing? What's the new highlight reel? What's the newest gadget? What's the newest shot or cream or whatever it is that we need to grab? So we're now dividing our focus. It separates inspiration from self-condemnation. That's the key task. We're going to take a look and find what inspires us versus what makes us feel we're not worth it. Again, that mindset. I could do better, meaning I'm going to put action into play versus I'm not good enough. Both essentially on the surface are saying the same things. I've already said this. I'm going to repeat it. Both are pretty much saying the same thing, but it is the mindset behind it. I can do better. Indicates I'm going to, with purpose and intent, find a reason. I am going to find that inspiration versus I'm not good enough. Meaning I'm condemning myself, saying I just can't do this. I've already defeated. I've already lost. And then grounding yourself in your own identity and values, not someone else's, not someone else on a highlight reel, not someone else on a post. Building digital discipline. This, in today's society, when I try to walk my clients through this, becomes one of the hardest things they do. But you need to physically discipline with purpose and intent. Discipline yourself with your digital footprint. And I'm not saying spy stuff. I'm not saying, oh, the government's watching. What I'm saying is, what are you watching? How much time are you wasting that creates this spiral of comparison, where you, instead of living your dreams, advancing your goals, advancing a better wellness in your life, you're self-condemning, watching other people's fake reality, and then convert comparison into an actionable mission focus. The mission is not to stop seeing other people, right? I'm not asking you to stop looking and seeing what other people are doing or what they've got. It's the mission is to stop using others as that measuring stick for your value. Identify the truth. I literally have had groups, being a fitness instructor. Being a fitness instructor, There are groups and social media and people that I follow that I've literally had to unfollow. And the reason for that was because I caught myself comparing. I wasn't looking at the truth. I wasn't looking at the words, the settings, the way it was making me feel. I was just absorbing the data. And then it began to make me go, I mean, I'm a certified master trainer. I've been doing this for 20 years. And I started going, well, maybe, wow, that's not that good. Man, I don't know why people even come and see me. Well, I realized that's comparison. That is, I'm not good enough instead of, I could be better. Now, there are other people who challenge me that I watch and I keep following and I keep looking for their information because they challenge me to be better. How are we going to execute this? I'm going to give you a few steps on what we're going to do and what you can do to execute. Get a piece of paper, write these down. Again, if you're watching this on TikTok or YouTube, you can always follow the Grit Nation group on Facebook. Once we're done with each of the briefings, then I take the slides that you're unable to see on TikTok. I take the slides and I upload them to the group so that people can download them and take a look. If you don't have that option, if you don't want to do that option, write these down because you cannot execute your mission while trying to wear someone else's identity. I want you to think about that for a second. You cannot execute your mission. Make it personal. You cannot execute your mission while trying to be somebody else. Because you're never going to be someone else and no one is ever going to be you, and it's your mission. You have the tools. You have the life that you've lived. The universe has taken you step by step to bring you to where you are today for a reason. But if you're comparing yourself to somebody else, you've stepped out of that reason. Thus, why you don't feel valued. First of all, first thing is this. Name the trigger. Name that thing that begins to make you feel that way. Identify where comparison hits hardest. Maybe it's your body, your money, career, family, platform, or even purpose. Maybe you see someone go, man, it looks like they have so much purpose in their life. I don't have purpose. Well, guess what? You're wasting a lot of time comparing yourself so that you don't find that purpose. It's that body. Every single, I mentioned this earlier, every single client that I work with, I tell them it is you against you. When they sit in front of me and they say, I want to lose weight, or I want to get stronger, or I have a high rocks, or I have a Spartan race, or a Tough Mudder, or I have something that I'm working towards, I tell them first things first. While we are moving through your training, you need to understand there's only one person you're going against. That is you. Your body, your life, your aches, your pains, your chronic illness, your whatever it is yours. And it cannot be compared to someone else because someone else's life may look similar, but it is different. And if you try to compare, you've already started failing. It is just you against you. And then interrogate the story. It's like, wait a minute, what, coach? Interrogate the story. Why am I feeling it? What did I see that made me feel this way? What made me have this all of a sudden like, oh, I got to get that, or I'm missing out, or man, I'm going to be left behind, or I'm not good enough. Instead of I could be better, I'm not good enough. What, when, where, how? What was it that made you feel that way? Where did you see it? How did you allow it to affect you this way? Why did it affect you this way? What's the truth? My father has also been a trainer for years before I ever got into training. And I remember my father's, several years older, obviously, than I am. And I remember one time about 10 years ago, I looked at him, I said, Dad, I said, how do I get to be at your fitness level. And he said, son, I do this for a living. He said, you're a father, a husband, you're working full time. He said, you are hitting the gym, you're eating healthy. What are your goals? And I said, well, to be a good dad. He said, well, are you doing that? Yeah. Are you creating a wellness plan that helps you do that and stay around for your kids? Yeah. Are you going and working out and staying fit? Well, yeah, but not like you. He's like, I didn't ask that. He said, are you providing for your family? Yeah. He said, then why are you comparing yourself? He's like, I've already raised my kids and I get to have a career now that allows me to do this every single day. He's like, I'm in the gym every single day, hours on end. You're not. You're trying to compare yourself to my life. And my life's not your life. Your life is not my life. What is it that you're comparing yourself? What's the truth? And then remind yourself who you are. Take time out, separate yourself, put yourself into seclusion, and start answering questions like, what do I really like? Man, I've got to drink my protein shake. All my fitness people out there are probably dying right now as I'm about to say this. Gotta drink my protein shake. Well, do you even like protein shakes? Well, no. Then why are you drinking them? Well, to get that body. There's other ways to do it. If you don't like a protein shake, don't drink it. Get it somewhere else if you need it. Do you even need it? What's your eating habits like right now? You may not even need the protein shake. What are your goals? I don't know, but I was watching this influencer and they were jacked and okay. But what are your goals? And how do you get there? What do you not like? How far have you come? How far have you come? I know individuals who are trying to pursue their dreams or goals, and they are constantly in this negative mindset of I'm constantly doing this. I'm never going to get there. Everybody's out to get me. And all I want to do is go, how far have you come? We forget that piece. All we do is look at what everybody else has that we don't have, looking at the highlight reels, and forget the journey we've already succeeded at has gotten us to this point. Define your own mission metrics. Score your life by values that matter to you. I have a series of those who've been around Grit for a while know I have a set of principles that I live by, that any decision I make, anything I do, I compare it to these principles. And these principles were built upon what my dreams, my goals are, the person that I want to be, not somebody else. First thing is, for me, always family first. And I know I've shared this before on Grit. For those who are new to Grit, I've turned down 6-figure jobs because it was going to separate me and move me out of state from where my kids were. And I said, it's not worth it. Yeah, the money would have been great, but I only get to be a dad once. I can go make money somewhere else. And I immediately was offered it and then took it over to my principles, not someone else's principles, mine. And I said, well, my first principle is family first, not money first, not bank account first. I'm not making millions of dollars. Family first. Where's your wealth found in? Then find that value that matters, the peace, the discipline, the health. I talk to people all the time in mindset coaching who are so stressed, they're so anxious, they have no peace. And when we start breaking it down, you start finding that it's because they are comparing their lives to what they have or don't have based on somebody else. They have lost their inner peace. How would you love to just be able to have peace where you're at. Then start making decisions for you from your principles, not based upon a comparison of where others think you should be or where you think you should be compared to somebody else. It's your mission, your journey. Focus effective. This grit briefing is called the ineffective mission, right? Of comparison. Where do we start making it effective? Is when we become self-aware. We begin to take charge of our lives instead of allowing our lives to just happen with intent and with purpose. Four more of these is establish digital rules of engagement. The military call it ROE. What are the rules of engagement? Every mission, every theater, everything you go into has a specific rules of engagement based upon the situation. Well, the situation is we need to stop comparing ourselves. The situation is I need to find my value within me. I need to find my self-worth. So what are the rules of engagement when it comes to this? First of all, you go back to that question of name the trigger, interrogate the story, return to your identity. Once you have done that, you start taking control. There are probably some people on social media you need to unfollow because their content creates this comparison that is unhealthy. So unfollow the red flag accounts. Set time limits. Stop letting apps command your nervous system. I want you to do some study on this on your own. I don't have time to get into this, but the effect that our social media apps do for not only our self-worth, our value, our comparison, what it does to our nervous system, it keeps us constantly at alert, constantly feeling like, again, back to that tribal mentality that if the tribe has it, I need it. If I don't have it, that means I'm being left behind, and being left behind means you don't survive. That's not true. That goes back to the interrogating the story. Find the truth of the story. Our mind and our primordial primitive feelings tell us this, but the reality of it is it's not true at all. Then turn envy into intel. This goes back to where comparison begins to work for us. What do I admire? Is it aligned with my mission, my goals, my dreams, my vision? And then how do I use this information to get me forward instead of envying it and comparing and making myself feel less valued? And then when I talk about look how far you've come, begin to practice gratitude and return fire. Practicing gratitude will truly help with the comparison destruction. Okay. So yeah, I'm an old guy. I'm old in comparison to a lot of people. And sure, I don't look young anymore. And it is harder for me to gain muscle. And it is harder for me to lose weight. But I am grateful that I get to live my life right now. And I am grateful that I get to be the father that I am. And I'm grateful for this opportunity to talk to you all. And guess what? I have beat every single thing. I'm going to return fire. I have beat every single thing that's tried to take me out. That is valuable. And if that's valuable and that's about my life, what that means is I'm valuable. And then execute the next right plan. TikTok's telling me I've been on too long. Match the puzzle piece. There we go. You do not defeat comparison by staring harder at someone else's life. You defeat it by executing the next right action in your own life. I tell people all the time, it is not about just getting fit. When I'm training people, I said, if you're here just to get fit, then your mindset is already not in the right place. Long term, what you should be doing is focusing on a wellness plan that creates longevity in your life. It's not, I have this saying, it's not about how much weight you can lift, but how much life you can live. So, what are some reset questions? Okay, coach, I got it. I'm tracking now. I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to reset, refocus, re engage. How do I do this? We need to start asking ourselves some questions. Is this comparison making me better, or is it making me abandon my mission? Coach, I'm so far down that rabbit hole, I don't even know what my mission is. Cool. That means you need to stop for a second. That means you maybe need to stop for a minute. Means you just need to disengage. That means you need to seclude yourself and start asking some questions. My strongest comparison trigger is, what is it? I'm not strong enough. I don't look that way. Look at them. I don't have the finances that they've got. Wish I could drive a car like that. I don't have a house like that. What is your strongest comparison? The false story I tell myself is fill in the blank. The truth I need to remember is fill in the blank. The mission metrics I will focus on is, when you get to this part, that mission metric I will focus on, it is realigning your mind, body, and soul to your mission, your focus with purpose and intent. The digital boundary I will set. It's going to be hard for a lot of people. I tell you, like I said before, this is one of the hardest things when I'm working with clients is getting them to set a digital boundary and then follow it. Why though? It goes back to, what's the false story? I need it. You do? I might be missing out on something. Oh, the tribal mentality. We already dispelled that. You're not really going to miss out on anything, not anything that's worth it. And then the next right action I will execute is, here's what I want you to do. 72-hour mission plan. This is going to sustain your mission and begin to help you grow. Your feed is either feeding your mission or feeding your insecurity. Your feed, your digital feed, is either feeding your mission or feeding your insecurity. So here's what I want you to do. Digital rules of engagement. I want you to mute or unfollow one account that consistently creates shame or rage or feelings of inadequacy. It's, you're flipping through and you get to it and you're like, oh man. Instead of I could be better and working towards it, you feel like you're not good enough. Unfollow, mute it, set it aside, get rid of it, clean it out of your rucksack. Then I want you to write down 3 personal mission metrics that matter more than appearance. When I say appearance, that means job, finances, or physical appearance. What are 3 personal mission metrics that you want to accomplish that matter more than appearances? See, it can be focused on lifting weights, losing weight, but that's not the mission. You're not going to do that because somebody else looks that way. You're going to do it because longevity plan, because it's going to create a healthier life. See, there's the difference. There's the switch. Instead of saying, I'm going to go to the gym because I need to look like her because I don't look like her, it is, I need to go to the gym and I need to eat healthier. And I'm going to put a wellness plan together because I want to live a longer, productive, healthier life. I'm going to upgrade my education. Instead of, I'm going to do anything and everything for a quick buck and try to be an influencer or sell product or whatever it is. No, I am going to enhance my long-term financial plan by doing blank, blank, blank. And what that does is then that begins to build a solid mission plan that is focused on you and not the comparison. Complete the 3x3 gratitude drill for 3 days. What is that? It is stopping. I've been talking about this several times. I've talked about that seclusion. It is you stopping and setting time aside to take in 3 deep breaths. feeling it, holding it, no digital footprint. You're not on social media. You're in with yourself. And then 3 things you're grateful for that coincide with your mission. And then 3 more breaths. Do this for 3 days. Take 1 real world action toward your actual goal. Be purposeful with intent. You take those 3 personal mission metrics and say, okay, one of these I'm going to start working and taking action to. What have we done? Our brain, I told you at the beginning of this, a brain takes in the data. It needs to figure out what data. It's not going to decide whether what's truth or not. It's just going to take in the data. It needs the soul and the body to sit there and go, okay, here's the goal. Here's the mission briefing. Here's what coincides with it. The rest you can get rid of. But when we're not doing that, it just starts storing random stuff. So take 1 real world action toward your actual goal. And then tell 1 trusted person where comparison has been attacking your focus. It's that accountability piece. You find that person that you can trust, take them with you, do it together. We do this on our workshops all the time. I always tell people you need an accountability partner, and it's even better if you 2 are working on the similar path. But don't compare yourselves. Work on your individual path, but move forward together. We'll end with this. Command and signal. Right? What's the challenge and password? In the military, we had challenge and passwords when you had a secure point that soldiers may need to quickly be able to get through, and they don't have time to be checked, verified, and all that. Each day there would be a challenge and a password. It may just be simple as they're walking up, they're yelling out the sky. The person who's guarding it says the sky, and the person who's running up trying to get through says is purple. Makes no sense, but they know that is a challenge and password. So here's the challenge. Comparison says they're ahead of me. The password to your success is changing that and saying their timeline's not my mission. Okay, so they're ahead of me. This is my life. Not their timeline, it's my timeline. And their timeline's not my mission. I'm not enough. We've beat this into the ground on this. The password to it is my worth is not up for voting. My worth is not up. It is not the reality TV show Survivor. You don't get voted off this island unless you vote yourself off. So you take that mindset from I am not enough to my worth is not up for vote. I want what they have. What you need to do is convert that envy into intel. Not I want what they have. First of all, is what they have truth, reality, or is it just a highlight reel? If what they have is truth, how did they do that? I'm going to create an intel log. What are the things that they did that I am able to do to progress myself forward? I feel behind. Well, stop saying that and execute the next right action plan. Comparison is not your commander. You need to take back your focus, ground your identity, audit your feed, your social media, and stay on mission. Keep your mind dialed in. For those who are watching this on TikTok, thank you. For those who are watching this on Facebook, YouTube, thank you. It is time for me to say your response is your responsibility. Go Grit it.